start a brand new series that I'm going to do a couple different videos on, which is kind of a dating guide for single parents, or a voyeuristic look into what it's like to date as a parent, because it does change the dynamics. It changes the dynamics of who you're dating, of who is interested in you, how you date, when you can date, and what your priorities are. It just changes things a lot. So it's very different to date as a parent than as a single child free, freedom-filled life person. It is very different. So today I'm going to talk about something that I hear about all the time, because apparently everyone on online dating sites thinks that single mothers are, I'm going to get this right, I had to Google it, it asked me one of those questions, DTF, they're all DTF. I don't know why people think you should message single mothers with MILF words or, hookup questions. I don't know. Don't you think of all the people that are not interested in hookup culture, it might be a mother, more respect for our bodies, that kind of thing. Less time to just screw around. Apparently, word has not gotten out on the internet, so I am going to share this so that less lovely single parents who just want to find a serious love of their life stop being harassed by people that are like, hey, you want to come over? No, I don't. So, in that vein, we're going to talk about FWB, which is Friends with Benefits. Now, I don't know the difference exactly. I should have Googled this. I should have Urban Dictionary'd it between Friends with Benefits and Fun Buddies. I'm censoring that word. But we're going to talk about Friends with Benefits because that seems pretty obvious, self-explanatory in the name, right? Okay, so the idea behind Friends with Benefits are, I think that you're seeing other people, you aren't in a relationship, you're just friends, maybe you hang out, maybe you do stuff together, I'm not sure exactly what the limit on there is, but then you get to bunk around, right? And this is something that I mean, all the time, it seems like every dude, approximately within 12-year radius of my age range, because I'm open-minded, age just not an issue for me, that's just what they want, right? Let's go on. I have other adventures that don't include you, so let's just be friends with benefits. No, I don't want to be that. Thank you very much. And I have found myself probably in, a couple situations where I'm like, oh, that's what you want. Oh, and it takes you a while because you think, oh, we're working on a relationship. Oh, you want that, and then you realize, oh no, this isn't what they want. They want FWBs. So now that we've explained what it is, we're going to talk about how do I make a little A there? I don't know how I'm going to do a B now. You're your host. A is, how do you recognize when someone wants to be just friends with benefits with you? So not a huge emotional connection per se and no long-term romance, right? That's kind of the idea behind it. My top tips are, a lot of the time if you're doing online dating, which let's be honest, most of us that are single parents probably are, because how else are we going to meet people? You can't really date necessarily in your single parent circle, because that can always get a little hazardous. You don't want to, ruin relationships with play dates. So when you're online dating, a lot of the times dudes will just put that in their profile. They'll message you, keywords, I think, when you are online dating and people are messaging you are see where things go, keep things casual. I'm sure they love to say this, I'm sure you have a lot of options, which is code word for, I want to keep my options open, so don't get too committed. So read carefully through people's profiles. That's really important. I have made that mistake. I made that mistake with the most recent guy that I was seeing, who, I really liked. I talked about him in another video, and I regret not reading his profile more carefully, because I'm certain that if I went back and looked at it, it would have mentioned some of these things. I'm sure I just glazed over it because I was like about to cancel the membership anyway, and I'm whatever. So read people's profiles carefully because it will answer a lot of questions. I know that one of the biggest issues for me with dealing with friends with benefits people is being optimistic, glasses half full. Oh, that's not what they mean. They must just be a little commitment shy. If people are commitment shy, it's not your job to make them not shy. So you shy away from them. So after you've read their profile well, and you're looking out for those key words for friends with benefits, because maybe some guys won't come out and say that right away. Maybe they'll just be like, oh, I'd love to be friends first. That can be a good thing. Sometimes that's a good phrase. Watch it in the context. That's really important. And so the next step you can do when you're online dating to avoid FWBs is to make sure that you put in your profile a tone, it doesn't have to outright say it, but a tone that you are definitely looking for a serious relationship, that you're looking to get married or have a long-time partner. And some people just say they aren't into hookups, or they aren't into anything casual, or they're looking for something serious. And some people will just put that right in their profile. And if you're worried about scaring off men, that will not scare off the men that you're looking for. Or the women. This is a gender neutral advice column. Excuse me, I shouldn't have used gender terms. That will not scare off the people you are looking for. It will scare off the people that you don't really want to spend time with. So it actually is really good for sorting through the field and making sure that people are only messaging you if they've bothered to read your profile, which a lot of times, let me be honest, people have not, that are more interested in longer term things. Another key phrase I think you should look out for is long-term partnerships. This can be, generally speaking, the key word that means I'm a commitment phobe. I never want to get married. I probably never want to have kids, but I want to have the security of somebody bangable. So watch out for that phrase. I've fallen for that phrase. And then in emails, I'd be like, you know what? I don't think you're really looking for a long-term commitment. At least, north of the border. That's a good visual. Oh, online dating will drive you crazy. And the number one most important question to ask yourself when you are dating is, do you want friends with benefits? Maybe that works for you. Nothing wrong with that. It's all about what stage you're at. For me personally, I know that I don't have room for that in my life because, I don't have the time, I don't have the emotional energy, and I don't have the desire to waste my emotional and mental energy on somebody that, friends with benefits gets messy, right? Somebody's gonna get hurt. I have never heard of a friends with benefits situation where somebody didn't end up getting their feathers out of joint, right? It just happens because it's very hard. Some people can, but it's very hard to separate physical acts of love from emotional acts of love, right? And that may not be true for everybody, but for, vast majority of people, that's really hard to separate. And I think that in today's culture, there's a lot of pressure to be able to separate those two things. And it's okay if you can't. There are those of us that are sensitive, loving souls who can't separate those two things, right? That they are inherently intertwined. And that just means that you are better off for your emotional well-being, for not being in friends with benefits situations, but for being in committed, loving relationships where you can have those both. And I don't think it's too much of anybody, man or woman, to ask to have both those things. So if you feel you're getting to a point in your dating story as a parent where, you know what, you're just only going to get one of those, you aren't going to get both of them, stop yourself and agree right now, hand on your YouTube thumbs up, see, I added that in, saying that you are going to not settle for less than you deserve and that you want. And sometimes it's hard to see what you deserve, but you can definitely see what you want. And make sure that you stay strong with that. And whatever that is, there's different shapes that can take. It's for you. But I know how disheartening online dating can be. So definitely, keep going and don't settle for just some casual thing if that's not what you want, right? That's the key. Online dating is great because it helps you find what you want. But, you can't push when you're going to find your soulmate or where you're going to find them. Just be ready and open for that. Alrighty, so this was the first video in this series. I'm going to do a couple more because I love this topic. It's a topic that's on my mind because this year I really promised myself that I was going to put myself out there more and I was going to try to date and I was going to legitimately keep myself open for my bashert, or that's Hebrew for soulmate. So the other half of my soul, right? In Judaism, there's a belief that you aren't necessarily going to end up with your bashert, but that is the person that kind of, you know, God has ordained for you. And there can be different ones. You know, you can meet several. There can be different souls that you're meeting, but that they're all your soulmates, right? And there's some debate, is there one, is there many? I don't know. I'm not God. But that was kind of my commitment to myself, is that this year I was going to put some time and effort into it. So I thought I would share kind of my observations, my hacks and tips and tricks that I am learning along the way, because it's a new thing to try and put myself out there as a parent. I've tried a little bit. I've done a little bit of dating here and there, but it's really hard to fit in. And most of the time I just come back, oh, dear God, single forever. I'll just adopt. That's how I'll have more kids. And then, you know, I motivate myself up and I go, no, you've got to put the time in and the effort in. And that makes me feel a lot better. All right. So until next time, feel free and check out my Patreon page. April's theme on Patreon is being a housewife. Well, like a house person, because, you know, I'm not married, but like a house person. And it's going to have all sorts of fun, neat, intimate looks at my life and kind of my tips and my suggestions and my motivationals and my fun videos. And it's going to have some interesting cleaning videos and cooking videos. I finally got my apron, so I got my little flat print apron I can cook in. And I just think that's fun. So follow along on Patreon if you'd like to. Feel free and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And until then, I'll see you around on YouTube.